guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be showing y'all how I put makeup on my mannequin to get her from bland Betty to poppin' Polly. Okay. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because I will be dropping more videos just like this one. Now y'all bear with me, this is my first time actually putting makeup on a mannequin doll, and I'm so proud of how she came out. So let's get right into it. I put rubbing alcohol all over her face. I'm just showing you that the makeup does not, well, the paint does not transfer onto the rubbing alcohol pad on the cotton pad, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm just cleaning up all the little scrapes and scars that she had on her face so that I can get ready to move into makeup application. So the foundation that I'm actually using on her today is the NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation, and this is in the shade Molly, and I'm putting that all over her face and body. Now when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're doing this in little stippling motions. You do not want to pat this in, nor do you want to drag this all over her face, because you will start seeing the little streaks and you will start picking up makeup and it having transfer from her face to your brush instead of the opposite. Y'all, this is almost like I'm doing blackface. Don't cancel me, y'all. Don't cancel me, okay? I'm tired of these fair skin mannequins that they be giving us. It's easier for makeup application, but I want my dark skin beauty to shine, okay, on my mannequins. So yes, I did her whole face and then I did her neck, and now we're moving right on to concealer. So the concealer that I'm using is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer, and I think this is in the shade Deep Cinnamon. If I'm not mistaken, it could be Deep Chestnut. I will put the link down below in which one that I used, and then you can go from there. And then I'm just taking a flat brush just so that I can spread the concealer in the desired areas needed. I kind of regretted doing that though because it didn't blend as well as I needed it to. So I started doing like fanning motions just so that it can actually blend better. And then I went in with a fluffy brush, a fluffy concealer brush. And I ain't even gonna hold y'all, this fluffy concealer brush is also from e.l.f. I use a lot of their products and a lot of their brushes, but this actually blended the concealer into the foundation a lot better. So yes, just make sure that when you're doing this mannequin, the mannequin makeup, you want to get her cheekbones, under her eyes, her chin, her nose bridge, and her forehead. You would do this just like how you would do your regular makeup, just that you're patting this in. And then you want to actually smoothen it out and blend everything together with your foundation brush, but not adding any extra product, just blending it out so that the stippling motion and everything looks properly. And then I also went in to highlight the areas a little bit brighter with another e.l.f. Camo 16-Hour Camo Concealer, and I think I got this in the first color. Yeah, it is in the first shade. I just don't remember what she's called. And I used that 2 little dots under the eyes, a dot on the forehead and a dot on the chin, but I actually accentuated where the cheekbones would want to be lifted. And then I also went in and blended that out with the e.l.f., with the fluffy e.l.f. brush. Now you don't have to accentuate the cheekbones with this color concealer. You can actually go in with a deeper concealer, which I feel like I should have done, honestly, because I did not take in mind that the mannequin does not generate heat on the body or on the face. So the concealer did not have a chance to actually oxidize into the mannequin. So if you do this, take it with a grain of salt and then actually blend it out so that it actually looks, you know, somewhat nice, because she was looking kind of white there. So what I did here is I took an eyeshadow brush and I just blended out the harsh edges of the concealer and the foundation where they would actually meet together, and I just used that to blend everything together so that it looks flawless. And then next I'm going to take my e.l.f. matte setting powder, and I think this is in the color tan, and I'm going to use a damp sponge to actually put the setting powder on her face. Now guys, you don't want to use too much like I did, because it will stick onto the mannequin's face. So just use a little bit at a time and then blend it out nicely with your fluffy brush. Yes, mamas is baked and beat to the gods. So yes, moving along, I'm going to take my e.l.f. Prime and Stay finishing powder, and this is in the shade dark/deep. Honestly, if you want, you can skip this step. However, I used it so that it can actually matte down the face a little bit more, so that the powder and the foundation doesn't actually transfer as bad. And then I'm going to use some contour shade to actually contour her cheeks and her forehead. So the contour shade that I'm using is also from e.l.f. It's the Mix to Match Foundation Shade Adjuster, and I got her in the shade Deepen. And I really just use that just to, you know, contour the cheeks a little bit. So I went in, blended that with a nice buffing brush, and then I went with my foundation brush to go over it. And then next I'm going to take some blush. So this palette is actually an eyeshadow palette from Juvia's Place, and it is the Masquerade palette, and I took those two shades to actually act as blush. And then to bronzen up the face, I used the same palette with similar colors, and I just put that all over her forehead and under her chin. So next we're moving on to highlight, and this is my favorite highlighting palette. It's by Morphe. It is the 8S highlight palette, and I'm using the shade Mirage. So I'm putting the highlight on her cheekbones, on her nose, on her forehead, on her chin. I did go in and put it under her eyebrows when I did do her eyebrows. And then to clear up her eyes, I just used some rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip just to actually clear that up. So right now on camera, I'm showing y'all the outline of the brows, but y'all, I struggled with a pencil on her brows. If you want to do eyebrows on the mannequin, make sure you use a pomade. Do not use a pencil because it is difficult. Y'all, I had to fill in the eyebrows off camera because whew, it was looking crazy. So next I'm just going to take my NARS concealer. It's the pot concealer in the shade Almond, and I'm going to highlight under her eyebrows with it. This is what I usually use for shaping up underneath my eyebrows for myself, so I decided why not use it on the mannequin. It was kind of dry, so just take that in mind. You might want to use a liquid concealer because it may blend better. And then after shaping it up, I just put some liquid concealer underneath there so that I can actually serve as a base for the eyeshadow. So the eyeshadow palette that I'm using today is by Bent Beauty, and this is their Fall Deep eyeshadow palette, and I'm using that second to last burgundy shade to serve as a crease shade, and then I'm going to use that last burgundy shade to actually use that to blend it out. Then next I took the beige shade, which is the second shade in the palette, to serve as a transition shade by the eyebrow and the second burgundy shade. Now it's time for us to cut the crease, and to be honest, this was probably like the easiest part of doing this mannequin other than putting on the foundation. So all I did was cut the crease. I did a winged cut crease, and I found it to be probably the best decision that I've ever done on this mannequin. I just used some regular concealer, just cut the crease. I let it dry, and then I took the glitter that's in the Fall Deep eyeshadow palette, and I just put a little bit onto the eyelid. And then after I did that, I put the lashes on off camera because that was the most difficult thing. Like when I tell y'all that it was difficult, it was difficult. And then the same colors that I used on the top of the lids, I use at the bottom of the eyes so that it can give us a nice gradient finish look. Now y'all know we can't forget the lips. So the lip palette that I'm using today is the e.l.f. Runway Ready Lip Palette Berry Bliss, and I use the shade that's all the way to the right. It's like a purple, deep purple shade, and I use that to line her lips. Then I use the third shade in the palette, which is like a pinkish shade, to actually serve as the lip base color. Now I did realize that I put too much of the pink on there and it took away from the purple, so I just went in with the purple one more time and blended it into the pink to make an ombre effect. So yeah guys, that's the end of this video. I made her go from plain Jane to Betty Baddie, you feel me? And I'm so proud because this is my first time actually doing this, and I'm so proud of myself. So yeah guys, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified for when I drop more videos just like this one. Bye.